Hey friends, welcome. I'm Mr. Ian. As you can see, this is a little 4x4. It's a rock crawler, 1/35 scale. It's an Orlandoo Hunter. Normal people will call it a Jeep Rubicon. I've had this stashed away since last winter, and the winter is upon us now, so I can't really do much flying or whatnot. So time to build this out, get some practice in, maybe buy a decent crawler for the summer good months. I've acquired a load of parts for it. As you can see, everything you can possibly imagine. I haven't started buying the metal upgrades for it yet, but that's a possibility. So, well, I've resisted so far, so time to get into it. Yeah, it's a 4x4. Looks like it's got a lock diff in there, but it's got bearings and so forth, and a geared metal motor. Nice glossy manual. Manual looks very, very clean, concise. This looks like it's all to scale. Very, very simple pictograms to follow for like greasing up. Yeah, it's a lock diff, but for crawling, that's fine, especially on such a small wheelbase. You get an option here, either install the servo on the axle or on the chassis. So I think I'm going to install the servo on the axle for this and keep the weight low and planted. Yeah, this should be quite straightforward to build out. What else we got in here? Right, some stickers, a set of 4 tyres, the rims, and you get foams. Spare tyre in here. Going to do this in a nice blue and give it a good paint job. Got the light kit and everything as well for it. So there's all the screws and accessories. It's a really nice package kit. It's even got chrome for the lights, and the official ESC has got a light kit in it. I picked this up quite cheap. I think I got it from Hobby King or Banggood on sale. I think it was about 30 quid. This is going to be great fun, and it might be a good one to get the little boy into crawling properly with. I'm going to start building it out bit by bit, and I'll take you along for a ride. Just getting into the first section of this. Everything's labelled up absolutely brilliant, even to the degree of bag A. Everything for this section minus the screws were in here. This is the axle to scale, so there's no confusion. Even like this little O-ring and the bearings, can't really go wrong, can you? These are the screws for these, and they were in pack X with the tools and the grease and so forth. Very, very straightforward, nice and well laid out. There are small parts though, being 1/35 scale. Time to crack on. Fair bit of progress in one little sitting. Got the front and rear axles done, all the steering, all the suspension linkages. As you see, this is the front axle assembly, steering, servo and so forth. Yeah, that's my fun. That's my whole vehicle. So it's quite dainty. Now that this little fiddly bit's all done, this was very precise with the measurements in here. You know, make 4 up at 8.5mm between the pieces. But the rest of it should be really quick and downhill now. All in good time. Here's a little update. Got all the running gear done, the transfer case with a motor installed, suspension linkages. Got to this stage where doing the frame rails and so forth, but it requires the LEDs to be installed in these parts. The front LEDs, the standard 4mm LEDs in there, and these ones are little SNDs. Here, it's going to be kind of fiddly, so what I've done is get a little bit of it myself and doing the frame rails. I've done the bumpers and so forth, so I'll get that installed, and then the rest of it is the home straight, just buttoning it up. I'm going to use everything stock for the most part and then upgrade it in the future, and I've decided to leave the body stock for the time being. I'm not going to put any of the accessories on it until I've painted it, because, you know, one step at a time. I'd rather whiz it around a little bit and then paint the body properly and then affix the accessories in the future. All good, time to move on. I might as well open this up and show you the little components. These are our little LEDs that sit in the back of here and get capped off, like so. They're going to look great. And we have 4 little surface mount device LEDs here. This isn't silicone, but it should be alright. And then the ESC itself, or all-in-one. That one goes to a motor. That one's battery connection, servo, 3-channel, steering, throttle and light control, which is awesome. Then we've got these 4 connections here for the LEDs, and I believe you can hook in a switch. Anyhow, all good. Need to power this up anyway to centre the servo at some point. As you can see, at the stage of putting all the frame rail and the rest of the integral joining bits up, bumper, motor mount, decks. The LEDs were a bit of a fiddly process, to say the least. We want you to put 2 SMDs in the back here and 1 in the front and tie the wiring together. I count my lucky stars that I'm in the UK and we don't have the running lights on the indicators all the time, and with the rears we have independent brake lights and tail lights, so that worked out to my lazy benefit. Chuck all this together, should be quite easy to do, just maybe do all one side and then register the other side up together with it. And then a matter of suspension, a couple of drive shafts, just clip it all in together and it should be ready to drive around with a little bit of rigging to the electronics. All the wiring's nice and snug, just tied it up, all this cable tied it up to the pillars and stuff. It should be out of the way and can route it underneath and up the frame rail if need be. When this is sat on there, it's going to be sort of lifted like that, looking good. This is going to be decased, so I might cut the antenna down and redo the active element on it, and perhaps might all-in-one this and just get rid of all the wires and connectors, even to the degree of soldering to a motor. But I think I'm going to put it together, make sure it's all working in order and then condense stuff down. All in all, going really well. Happy as Larry with it. Very, very tidy, should we say. Next up is just monotonous. Make 4 shocks, make a couple of drive shafts. Everything's ready to just stitch together. All the mise en place is done. Lighting looms, servo, motor, all-in-one, ESC, steering and everything. Receiver, so I envisage it's going to sit like this, sort of. The receiver will sit inverted and this will sit on the back plate and then the battery will slide in underneath. So I'm just going to solder these up to these through holes here. Nothing left to do but get on and do it, really. Yeah, looking forward to driving this around. This whole desk will turn into an off-road park, I expect. I really didn't expect it to be this small when I bought it way back when. So that wraps up the first stage of this build. It's together, it's working. Obviously the body's not finished or anything. That's going to get a real good spray job and lots of detail and stuff, all in good time. Had to do a little bit of fine tuning, specifically on the front end. It was catching on the frame rails, but a little tweak of these tie rods was no problem. Half a turn at a time until it was right. The wiring still needs sorting. It's very unsavoury how it looks at the moment, but once I remove a lot of the wires, that'll be a lot nicer. As you've seen on the head of the video, had it out on a bed of rocks or stones. It was like a boulder field, great fun to navigate with this. And on the tail end of this will be the sort of hooning around on the desk, getting it running and so forth. That was great fun, just piling up anything I had at hand. So that's all good. In the future there'll be a video about all this and it'll be shared on Thingiverse. Some obstacles for it, and it does lap these up. This one's an oblique shaped uneven course. It could be scaled up a lot better, but for now it is what it is, and this one's a sort of a small terrain, just a proof of concept. they're being worked on with lots of other things, but that'll be a later video. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting one or lost for something to do in the off season like I am, yeah, great fun. Tedious, fiddly, very much worth it, and I got a load of upgrades for it. So stay tuned. Any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. Take care.
You Billy. Hey.